Hi, I'm Clay,
I'm Nick.
and welcome to the Tryhards.
Today we had a great guest. We talked to Flash Andretti about his Elsha deck, where he plans on taking it, the current changes it's gone through, all the combos it has inside of it, and what it means to be a win-conless deck.
Perfect. Thanks, guys, for watching. Enjoy the show. Appreciate it. Yeah, coming
All
to you
right.
live from my basement. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
From your basement.
Down south, right? This is a building in the ground.
I'm not used to that. We can't
I'm
even
from
have
Florida, man.
we
It's
can't
like
even
that.
have buildings in the ground here. Like we'll be underwater, in
Yep.
water actually. Yeah.
Right. All right, buddy. Get some.
All right, so Flash, what makes you think you can come for my Jeskai title?
Come for your Jeskai title. Oh my lord. Some people say I invented Jeskai. No, I didn't really. But man, I've been playing Jeskai since 2015 with Jeskai Control. You remember that deck in Modern?
I do not. I never
It was a
played
pretty
much
good
Modern,
deck.
so
Yeah, that was after. That was
Okay.
after me. I still remember.
Oh yeah.
I still remember when Jund was, $1,700, and Jesus, Liliana was $120 a pop. Yeah, those
You
were the
talking about
days.
Liliana of the Veil?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my lord. I remember
Arbor
that.
Knife. Yeah, you had to basically take out equity out of your house just to play a modern deck.
Remember when everybody had Liliana of the Veil in their decks, and then they were running Liliana Vest as well,
Yep,
like it's a one or a two of,
yep.
with Collective Brutality and Thought Seize
Mm-hmm.
in their deck. It was a pretty nasty mono black deck.
Yeah, I did that for a while. I played competitively, uh, specifically standard, so limited standard, and then modern were my go-to. I was living in California. I was living actually 45 minutes south of Channel Fireball headquarters. So
Oh,
so I was a gamer, and that kind of, if I have a fondness for competitive constructed play, it's largely by a byproduct of that experience. So
you ever got to meet the owner of Channel Fireball?
probably I
Didn't even know.
that's the thing, that I recall seeing all the personalities that were, and to be honest with you, it's been so long now, and they rotated so many people through. I couldn't even tell you the name of any of those. Well, I remember like BBD was running for him, Brian Baron or I think that's his name. Anyway, I actually remember when they moved from their downtown location, which was frankly a hole, into their huge event center that they're still in now, and that was an interesting transition. Watching them go from like effectively a moldy warehouse to a semi nice facility, but
Okay.
so why did you choose, like, say, Elsha over any of the other Jeskai commanders that are all essentially
Well,
effective?
originally, uh, well, Clay knows this, but I was actually before Elsha on Kalia, and then well, after I was playing with Kalia for a long time, all on that server, I started messing around with Gitrog. Clay remembers that too. I started taking ideas from the Frog server and me playing Gitrog, learning how to run that Golgari commander, and I started incorporating into Kalia, which my original version is in Reanimator, full on Reanimator build, which is, I still love Reanimator. Reanimator is my favorite archetype,
yep.
but right now I don't think it's in the best spot in the current format. Everybody is crazy, and we're gonna talk about that later. But I jumped from Kalia initially, and I was looking for a new commander. I originally was gonna pick up Kiker, and I was like, this looks like a nice Jeskai. So I remember playing Jeskai control. And then after Kiker was revealed, 2 months later, Elsha gets leaked, and I was like, I was already buying cards for Kiker, and I looked to myself, I was like, I'm playing this. First day, I saw Elsha. I was going nuts about it, all the possibilities. I was talking to Siggy from the Lab Maniacs, and he was like, "You're gonna play Elsha?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm really." He said, "I like her too." He was like, "What you think about Proteus Staff?" I was like, "Proteus Staff Elsha." I was like, "Let me build a shell around this," and I started doing it. I brought it out. I was playing it real heavily, and around this time, the Time Twisted 3 tournament was approaching. Shout out to the Mr. Remorse. Oh yeah, I remember I was entering the tournament, and this was at Elsha was already about almost 3 months old, and the Proteus staff build just wasn't cutting the mustard. And I decided I'm gonna put in Gilded Drake and Co. I was like, let me switch it up. I did. I ended up getting top 8 in the tournament. I was ecstatic about it. I was like, yes, I'm doing this. Everyone on that watched that stream saw me do that 50-50 gamble for that top. Everybody saw that. That was probably my favorite play of the tournament, man. But I unfortunately had to drop from the tournament. So they had to, when you drop, especially with people that top, they will rearrange the top listing because someone took themselves out to put someone else in. And a lot of people said that I shouldn't have done that. I should have went on, but I actually was obligated to do a collector's booster draft. This was when the first collector's boosters came out. And we did a draft for it at my LGS, and it was with buddies of mine that I always play TDH with. That was probably part of the reasons why I dropped from the tournament. And shout out to Top Tier Board Games. I don't regret it. I think it was the right decision because it made more memories. I probably would have had memories with the tournament too, but y'all understand. There's nothing like being out with your boys and having fun. And
tournament fame isn't forever fame. Being famous amongst your friend group, that's forever.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we after we had the draft, we didn't care who got first place. Everyone was having a good time. Mm-hmm. And then we just went. This was Throne of Eldraine, I remember. No, it was Theros. It was Theros, the first collectors. We went out and got drunk after that. Best time ever. all 8 of us went to but pretty much Elsha I just fell in love with her, and at the time I was playing around with Sensei's top in many competitive decks, including Kalia, including Frog. I tried it in not Elsha. I tried it in Kess. Kess is one of my other decks. I love Kess. And it was just top never worked for me whenever I tried to, and I felt it was too slow. But at the time, Flash was prevalent in the meta, and everybody sandbagged hard. The games were going long and slow and grueling. People being anxious because you didn't know when Flash was going to go off. And I was like, I wanted to play a faster paced game than that. At the time, I was definitely a mid-range with Elsha, which leads to the next question. What does she offer? What does she offer? I don't know why I'm talking through my teeth. Let me correct that. So Elsha is a adaptive commander, which means she can be proactive or disruptive, or a combination of both. She can go back and forth, usually by card design, she's meant to be proactive. A lot of people do prefer her to be a mid-range disruptive build, which I understand. Everyone doesn't like a fast-paced game, but I think it's correct to play her in a proactive way. It doesn't mean that you can't switch your strategies with this commander.
So, like with that, like you had mentioned at one point in time that you would, for the lack of a better term, like bully players with your proactiveness in the deck. So,
Oh yeah.
I was going to see if you'd explain that a little bit further, talking about the need for it to be not necessarily need, but like you're trying to convince people to be more proactive, and how that worked out for you, just kind of pushing players in a certain direction.
Okay, so part of the reason why I believe everyone should be proactive, one, proactive decks do two things. One, they try to create the pace or a tempo of the game. That means everyone is going to follow in your lead. You're going fast, you're forcing the table to race you, which plays to your strengths. If you're going fast and you're forcing the rest of the table to go fast when they're trying not to, that's going to throw people, or not people, but the decks off their game plan. Some decks can race, and that's fine, but
Good.
most can't. You know what I mean? Like, most can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
So, one, you're knocking the deck off their game plan by making the table race with being proactive. And two, by you being proactive, it's going to make you a target of the control player. Now, most pods, a balanced pod to me, will have at least a combination of one control or stacks or both of those players at the table. You kind of need to, because when it's like one control or stacks at the table, Elsha is going to have a heyday. That one player who's the only one that can answer her is not enough, because Elsha is the type of commander where she's going to force your interaction out, and it's actually on purpose. The way I play her, I make it to where you're going to want to use your interaction on me, but usually I don't care if you counter something. Most of the time, I'm going to let it happen. I'm not going to fight it. I'm like, that's good. You good. And when it gets to around turn 3, 4, the sweet spot for Elsha, where she tries to win the game, that's usually in the danger zone for the rest of the table, because at that point, Elsha usually is going to have around 2 to 3 counters in the hand, sometimes more. And she's going to win most counter battles. Like, people don't understand, Elsha has a lot of interaction. Like, it's very hard for people when she's trying to come off to just disrupt it. Like, yeah, people are going to take risky hands and might have one form of interaction, but most of the time, I try to at least make it my business. I'm like, hey, I'm going to have a spell piercing hand, I'm going to have a dispel in hand, and a pact of negation. Or I'm just naming some cards.
Right.
That would be perfect, actually. Like, you won the game if you got those 3 in hand. But most of the time, if you have some form of a combination of 3 of your counters, you're good to go. And I normally like to force the interaction out of those specific players and bully them. That's my form of bullying. It's another form of bullying. You're making them waste interaction very early. So when you go off, they can't do nothing to you. And, like, I use the term bait because you're pretty much baiting that player. Once you pretty much force their interaction, the rest of the table is probably sweating. They're like, okay, this is the only person that can deal with him. My deck can't deal with it, but his deck probably can deal with my deck. And if you're ahead in mana and everything, you pretty much can streamline your way to victory. I think Elsha is in a very amazing spot right now. I'm not saying she's the top 5. She's not a top 5, but I could give her like a top 15 commander in CDH. If you can argue her in the top 10, but I'm just, if I actually sat down and actually looked at every commander, I'll probably have an actual list, but I don't have time for that.
No way.
Oh yeah, but
but also like pilot skill.
Yeah, pilot skill matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any given Saturday, there's all these factors. But what you're saying is that a skilled pilot with the current list can sit down and have a reasonable expectation of performing well.
And shout out to Kyle, by the way, who got 8th place on Elsha at the time Twisted.
No doubt.
My boy. Oh, yeah. Nick,
Anytime
did you
see
play?
Jessica represent, it's a good day.
Oh, yeah. Did you play in the tournament, Nick?
I didn't. It was my buddy's birthday, so I was busy all weekend, so
Friend famous.
Oh, I understand.
I couldn't make it to the tournament. I was going to commentate, but then, again, I was just too busy to actually be able to do it.
It would have been awesome if it was 3 Elsha players in the tournament.
I mean, I run Narset.
The only one that
I need to invite you to the Jeskai server.
That's it. Delete it.
Oh, yeah. Man. So,
So you did mention
let's talk
Proteus.
about...
You did mention Proteus staff,
Oh,
and I noticed you're also off of Proteus staff because from my stance, when I did try the Proteus staff Elsha build, it just felt way too glass cannon-y. Is that kind of why you swapped off of it, or?
Wasn't the real reason, because you can certainly protect it. I felt it took too many moving parts to make it work. It wasn't clunky, but it needed a lot of setup and mana. So you essentially was like Godo. You needed 11 mana.
Mm-hmm.
5 for Elsha, 3 for Proteus staff, and 3 to activate it.
It's all in on that.
Mm-hmm. I can make the argument now that you certainly could do it easier now. Like now, cards like Jessica's Will is in existence, but at the same time, I was looking at it. By playing Proteus staff, it was restricting me from a more dense pool of card quality. So you were missing out on things like Dockside, Gilded Drake, Ethereum Sculptor.
All of the actual useful creatures that should be run in Jeskai that you can't because you're strictly doing a no creature build in Proteus staff.
Yeah, which was a problem. So I eventually just was like, I have to play those because those cards are important. Which it ended up being the right decision. I feel if I didn't do that when I did, I probably wouldn't have even made it far in the tournament last year.
Yeah.
That's one example. I probably wouldn't have won as many games as I have, like out the plenty games I've played on Nexus or the other servers I play on, like Cockatrice and things like that. I have fun. Like I can definitely say, running creatures at under the number of 4 or lower, it's the right thing to do in Elsha.
Yeah, that was one of the things that kept me off of Elsha was the fact that, like I said, I tried it in the Proteus staff phase, and it just not having the utility creatures and the fact that you have no blockers. Say someone does get a Timna out there, you have nothing to block with, so it just made it like no way to deal with any sort of incoming damage. That really slowed me down, which is also why I liked Kaikar over Elsha at the time. But Elsha's grown on me since then because it was, like you said, like 2 weeks later after Kaikar, it was just, Elsha's spoiled. And it's like, well, I like the bird, but Elsha looks better.
And he wasn't the only commander that happened to either. It's funny because at this same time, Niv Mizzet Reborn had just come out. And then a few weeks later, First Sliver came out, and everyone was like, well, R.I.P. Niv Mizzet. I remember the Food Chain server. Everyone literally said R.I.P. in the chat. R.I.P. Niv. Yeah. Like a long chain for like a couple days.
Niv Mizzet Reborn, it was like what? Niv Mizzet Reborn, February 2019 or whenever to February. Like he was there for less than a month.
Yeah. I remember that. That was the best meme at the time. You gotta love it. Man. But I love that's one of the main things that attracted me to Elsha and Jeskai and Commander at all together, because at the time competitive really didn't have a Jeskai Commander. Now we have 3 of them that we can play reliably and be fine.
What's the third?
Narset, Kaikar, and Elsha.
Okay.
Also now there's the Shark Rider and stuff.
Well, I wasn't counting Narset. But
it's like that cat meme.
Oh yeah, but I was gonna say Braylon has definitely is pretty neat deck. That deck now, while Elsha does play wheels, that deck is actually a wheels and fields deck for sure. Like they will run every wheel, including Winds of Change.
I do that in Narset, so I mean, I guess I should probably take a closer look at Braylon and stuff, but my Narset deck is literally just trying to power out as much value as you can while wheeling other people off of their own game plan. So.
Okay. And I'm gonna let everybody know, by the way, while we talk about wheels, if Elsha is on the board, on the table, literally there, do not wheel. Elsha players like it when their opponents will. Just saying.
It's just new.
Don't give her draws. Yeah. Don't give Elsha draws.
Well, that said, like, so where do you see the current meta? Like, you made reference to Flash being in the format. It's so weird to think about that. I was going to say that was just a year ago, but that was like a year ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there has been so much. It's like Flash Winter, and then it was banned, and then there was this weird, like nothingness for like a month or two while everybody just kind of picked everything up, you know, and then here we are into, what are we into now? Breach Ad Nauseam? Dockside?
Oh yeah. I mean, Ad Nauseam was played even back then, but all what the Flash ban did was when Flash got banned, people were like, okay, I guess we're just gonna maximize Ad Nauseam now, because both cards were still played together. Ad Nauseam was definitely in those decks, but now people had no reason to run the dead cards that you require for Protein Hope. Yep. People cut Protein Hope altogether. It's like, okay, we don't have to worry about the 7 CMC now.
Packages.
It kind of
worry about building all these packages.
Now we can just turbo knock into anything.
We could just play the best cards in every color in our color pie chart. Pretty much what the decks did. And now I will say it hasn't affected Elsha at all. It hasn't made her weaker in the format. But
anybody else hungry?
What it has?
You got some more of them chips?
Oh, the chips. Cheddar jalapeno.
Damn, now I'm really hungry.
Those chips are good. You should try some. But I'm really just thinking about it, like the Adnos, Dockside, Thoracle in the format right now. It hasn't changed much for Elsha because she runs a lot of those cards minus Adnos or Consultation because no black. That's the only downside to me with Elsha, because I don't think there's no downside for her not having green. She doesn't care. But as far as black goes, we can't directly tutor. We have to run like some of the most fringe tutors in blue. So it can be difficult and annoying. Yeah, like blues. I mean, I'm not saying they're terrible, but for Elsha they're good. But in most case scenarios, if we had the black tutors, I'm pretty sure Muddled and Mixture wouldn't be in the list, for example. We can literally Vampiric Tutor and immediately cast it from top of the deck. That's broken. So Elsha can't have black. I think Wizards of the Coast did a good job not giving black to her, because if they made Elsha Grixis, we would be having a different discussion right now. I'm just saying. I
That
do.
would just be disgustingly
Bad,
broken.
bad Elsha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like Elsha. You would hate her more. You like, what is this nonsense?
I mean,
But
just like with how the rules committee has been handling a lot of the like, oh, this is an insanely broken card, we need to flash ban it, like they did with the little otter thing.
The companion.
Yeah, with companion and stuff.
mhm.
Like if Elsha had black, it probably would have been like, and this is now printed, and 20 minutes later there's a ban announcement on it. Just
Yeah.
it would just be too
Give.
strong of a
I
card.
think black would make her.
At the
Black
risk
would
of
bust her.
sounding,
Yeah.
at the risk of sounding insensitive, though, do you think that because there are combos that are superficially obvious to most players, but then there's also stuff that's really like meta that most people don't naturally get and have to be explained to. Like, for example, underground breach or underworld breach. Um, People knew that was
Reaches.
yeah, people knew like it was like the wolf in the wood line, right? They knew that there was something dangerous about it. They just couldn't articulate exactly what. But those people who were in the know knew exactly from the onset how dangerous that card was. So what I'm suggesting is that like Flash, like there had to be a lot of convincing to get the RC, not trying to disparage, but there had to be a lot of convincing to get them to go that way. And I really think that superficially they wouldn't have looked at Elsha had she been Grixis in any kind of negative light. I think she would have passed muster. The whole Otter deal. That was an obvious free counterspell to anybody, especially under those. If you recall, that was under the old companion rules before they updated that too. So
Yeah.
that would just
Elsha would have definitely ran the outer. Yeah.
auto include. And I think that's the thing that
That was auto.
they just got upset with the fact that well, everybody's just going to run this. There's no creativity if everybody does it.
I mean, but there's a lot of I don't understand the argument with that from the RC because there's a lot of people. No matter what commander you play, I could guarantee you, I can name you these 5 commanders, and everyone is gonna run that same combo in there.
Yeah.
Whether they discuss it amongst each other or not, they're gonna be like, "Oh,
Some people
what does
are going
commander
to
do?"
gravitate to it. Some people are going to look at and see it online and mimic it. Some people will actually like discuss and try to go, well, everybody else is doing that. I'm going to do this. This doesn't work. I guess I'm going to do that. So they're going to have this natural.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done that before. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this since everybody else doing that. I'm like, dang, I see why they're running that now. Literally, like, if you can't beat them, join them. So the argument with Lottery, I feel like they still could have let it existed. I mean, Loris is no better. He's also broken. Like he's broken. Zerta broken. You got 3 broken companions, just one of them banned.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I feel like even if they didn't ban it, it wouldn't have affected the format that much anyway, because what we're currently playing, people would have still played it. It wouldn't change. It'd just been like an extra. It was like, well, you did all of this. I guess I can just do this now.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna complain though. I'm like, it is what it is. A ban list is a ban list.
At the end of the day, if we don't have access to it, nobody else has access to it. It's like almost as if it never existed in the first place. But it's actually worse than that because we knew it existed. We got to taste it briefly and wonder and dream, and it was ripped, torn from our.
Like,
not to be overdramatic.
Oh yeah, but I'm happy. I'm happy that we're in the current format we in. Speaking of, I guess that answered the next question about access to black and green. So let's talk about these nifty combo lines.
Yeah, buddy.
So I know you wanted to talk to me about it. So
Yeah, I got your.
Elsha actually has.
I got your primer pulled up on
Say
the
that.
screen. I got your
Oh
running primer
yeah.
pulled up so I can reference that too. Go ahead.
So like the combos are pretty nifty. Everyone knows about the top reducer combo. Like that's the bread and butter. You have to run that. If you're not running that in Elsha, you're definitely doing it wrong. Even the casual builds are running reducers, expensive ones, but they're still running them, and they all have Sensei's top in the deck. You can go anywhere online. Every Elsha list has Sensei's top. So if you're not running it, you're playing Elsha wrong. That's just, I think that's fact. Nick agrees. Like that's a fact.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like, pretty much to break it down and explain it for everyone that doesn't know, the first step, you pretty much are going to cast Sensei's top after you have a reducer with Elsha on the board. She has to be there unless you have ISO and you're going to tap the top, draw the card on the top of your library. Of course, you can see everything because of Elsha, so you can also cast things in response to the tap if you want to increase storm count. Storm does matter in Elsha. You draw the card, and then you can just play the card. You can play Sensei's top from the deck for free and rinse and repeat. And pretty much, once you draw your deck in your hand, you have many win cons you can get to. Like I'm gonna name some classics that I'm not even running anymore. Grape Shot Time Twister.
Mm-hmm.
That's one classic combo. Grape Shot and Not Forgotten. That's more of a high powered combo, but I did run it at one point in time. After further testing, we realized it's not the most optimal thing in competitive, that is. But it is a combo that's there. You can do that. There's Grape Shot Narset Reversal. You have Grape Shot and Underworld Breach. I love Grape Shot. Grape Shot is a fan favorite card, but we eventually Grape Shot and Angel's Grace.
What image I'm going to put in the title card of this video?
Grape Shot. Now, while that line was cut, and after tested, it took almost a year, and we realized we need to be off of Grape Shot. Since it's been out the list, I haven't missed it, actually. So at the end of the day, I can honestly say it was the right move cutting it. The next would be Rolling Earthquake. All the REQ lines. Rolling Earthquake. A lot of people that I know felt when I cut Angel's Grace that we needed to keep it for Rolling Earthquake. But here is why you don't need Angel's Grace. So with Rolling, you can do your normal Breach. You can do either your Breach and Brain Freeze lines, mill your deck. And with, like, pretty much you're going to have top reducer in play anyway. Mm-hmm. You're going to mill your library, get some mana, cast Smother and Tithe. What you're going to do is you're also going to cast Silence. Then you're going to Time Twister with Breach. Shuffle deck into your graveyard into your deck. Everyone draws. You gain a lot of mana. You're going to draw your deck again. At this point, it doesn't matter how high your storm count is. Brain freeze would just kill people. Honestly, you can stop there, just brain freeze everybody, and then Wheel of Fortune, then to death. That's one way to kill them. Or you can source the Plowshare Elsha with all her powers triggers, increase, get a lot of life, use the mana from Smother and Tithe, pump it into Rolling Earthquake.
Creating that deficit, yep.
Yeah, like Rolling Earthquake, and that's just showing you the ceiling of Rolling Earthquake. Its floor is a sweeper. It can kill any mana dork that you need. Actually, when you cast Rolling Earthquake, you usually can pay up to 3 mana and kill most relevant creatures in competitive, and Elsha still won't die because she gains Prowess Trigger from it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She becomes a 4/4, and it just brings her back down. You just like, okay, Elsha doesn't care. But that's just pretty much self-explaining. Rolling Earthquake is probably your second most important card in the deck. I would say it's actually, I'll take a step back. It's your fourth most important card. Breach and Brain Freeze are more important. But you also, speaking of Breach going down, there's Underworld Breach and Smothering Tithe. That is a combo. You cast Breach, you're going to cast LED, you're going to crack LED for triple white. Next, you're going to use one of those white mana, probably cast yourself a rock from your yard. After that, you're going to escape LED, exiling another 3 cards. Make sure you do not exile a Wheel of Fortune. Bad idea. Don't do it. Escape Smothering Tithe, exiling 3 that isn't will. Escape LED with any 3 cards. And then after that, you're going to do it for triple red this time. And then you're going to just straight up get all the mana back from Smothering Tithe. And then you just keep repeating this loop until you kill everybody for lethal. This is the deck out method that gives you mana that also helps protect yourself. And the fact that you are on Breach and Freeze, you can easily just mill your graveyard and your Breach will just stay live. Like, people don't understand. Brain Freeze is that card. And then I must just say this, the floor for Brain Freeze is it just murks top deck tutors. It's ceiling lethal. I think, and this is part of the reason why Elsha's win conless. There's so many cards, you can utilize them and use them for multiple different and various methods for whatever situation the game state is in. But you also can use these cards to win you the game, besides just helping you out here and there. Yes. So it's like,
it sounds like Brain Freeze is probably the most narrow, but it's not singular. It sounds like that's the only narrow card out of all of those.
So it's the definition it's the definition of not having a dead card. Mm-hmm. You could always use it for something. That's better than nothing. So
versus Torch Courier. What does that card even do?
I used to run it in Kalia. And also, there's some other combos for the people that like Jank. I'm gonna show y'all something that y'all are gonna like. You can literally do Jeskai Ascension, Lotus Petal, and Emery Lurker of the Lock. That's a combo.
What's Emery do? I don't remember what Emery does.
She's an artifact. She's definitely an artifact deck. But you pretty much, once she no longer has summoning sickness, you cast Ascension, you cast and crack Lotus Petal, you activate Emery, targeting Lotus Petal, and you repeat the process. And when you cast a non-creature spell, you get to, with Jeskai Ascension, you pretty much give +1/+1 counters to your target creature, but you also get to draw a card, then discard a card. So you pretty much are, crafting your perfect hand at the same time, making infinite mana. Now be careful, you could deck yourself out, so know when to stop. Well, I guess it's not infinite, a finite amount of mana. But pretty much that's how that combo works. There's also And it's not ascension. It's I'm tripping. Ascendancy. Jeskai Ascendancy. Yeah. You also have a Jeskai Ascendancy plus retraction, helix, or banishing knack. You pretty much you loot your library. You cast with cast Jeskai Ascension, cast retraction, target creature without summoning sickness. Tap a rock, tap a creature, target mana positive rock, cast mana positive rock. There you go. And another one, which honestly, this is in a deck on its own, so it really doesn't fit in Elsha. But there's Dockside and Baron Master Wizard.
Yep.
I like that combo anyway.
I got my copy of Baron from this guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And the last thing, the spicy one, you have Isorev. Man, Isorev does many things. I'm actually contemplating cutting copy artifact, by the way, but that's another topic. Isorev with Sensei's top, you literally are drawing your deck without your commander aboard. You see, what Isorev did when I re-included it into the list, it pretty much allowed us to have ways to win the game without relying on Elsha. Breach already kind of put us in that direction, but with Isorev, now it doesn't matter if we're Gilded Drake, it doesn't matter if you Drannith, it doesn't hurt us anymore. So I'm naming those cards because I'm like, there were a couple cards people were like, well, this hurts Elsha, and I'm like, it used to, but you know how decks adapt and evolve. That's all I did. I was like, after further testing and going through everything, I learned, hey, I could do this. I could also do Isorev, Sword to Plowshare, Rolling Earthquake, make infinite mana, plow Elsha, because Isorev give you Storm and Prowess triggers, and then you can just Rolling Earthquake manually. You also can do Isorev Breach with a Will or a Windfall, and that can work too. It is very versatile. Like, you can even do Dramatic Reversal by itself. We have so many rocks. It's a ritual in this deck. Yeah, it's a legit ritual. Like, we have Dramatic Reversal, and there's plenty of times I've used Dramatic because I was like, I need the mana. Let me do this. I would do that, and it was definitely not a mistake putting Isorev back into the list. That's pretty much. I could go all day about the combos. That's pretty much just a summarization of what we can do. Because the deck technically doesn't have a hard win con. It's win conless unless you want to add Thought Lash in. Thought Lash is technically a win conless card too. It's just a 4-mana enchantment. But if you wanted to run Thought Lash, it opens the possibility to running Thassa's Oracle, which counts as a win con. If I decide to do this, Thassa's would be the only dead card in the deck. That's about it with the combos.
Sweet. Well, I like that it's a. Forgive me for saying so. That it's a big pile of mess that you got to kind of figure out and entangle. But also, if you try to run down one line and you get stuck, you're not just stuck there. You can wiggle your way out of it. It's just having the aptitude to know that you can navigate your way, left or right, up, down, out of it. That's kind of where I get stuck. Is if I have too many options, I have too many options.
That's what actually, it's funny you say that. That literally covers the other two questions. How resilient to disruption, and is it proactive disruptive? Yes to all of it. Man, like, it don't matter what type of disruption you give Elsha. It's like, oh, I'm going to run a Rest in Peace. I guess I'm not running Breach Lines. I guess I'm doing Top today. And Manual Rolling Earthquake. Oh, I'm going to I decided that I'm going to no ride you. I'm like, okay, I've run 4 bounce spells. Take it back.
Yep. Good luck.
You can do that. Yeah, like good luck. Like,
Be like
oh,
water, right?
I mean, no ride. Yeah, back then when we weren't running all these bounce spells, no ride was a lot worse. Now, while it still sucks and is one of our high priority targets of removing immediately, it's not going to make or break us. We can still get by. Um, I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, Elsha has an answer to everything. Everything you give her. The only card that's probably the bane of Elsha's existence is Grafdigger's Cage. It stops everything Elsha wants to do. Full heartedly.
Well, it's good.
We don't like Grafdiggers.
It's a good counter to breach combos.
Mm-hmm.
It also stops you from casting off the top, and it's just an all-around annoyance, really.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. I can feel the see the.
Oh, you've been
Let go your hate.
And I think our most hated cards, Grafdigger's Cage, No Ride. Well, actually, I would say in this order: Grafdigger's Cage, Trinisphere, then No Ride, Collector Oof. After that, we really don't care. I mean, people have rest in peace me before, but it really didn't hurt my feelings. I was just like, okay, you gotta rest in peace.
Yeah. So that said, like,
which
since we're kind of like going down we see what the state is. Is there anything from the state of the current meta? Is there anything from Legends or anything spoiled from what are those upcoming sets? Is there anything on the horizon you think that's gonna be the big boogeyman, or?
Well, I wouldn't say the meta is the Wild West. It definitely ain't the Wild West. I wouldn't say it's exactly predictable either, but you kind of just know what decks are going to be played right now. I currently see Elsha staying proactive, but things like Op Agent and Hull Breacher, I don't think Opposition Agent is really warping the format. Elsha doesn't really care. If your deck is doing what every commander in CDH should be doing, and that is prioritizing your draws first anyway, Op Agent isn't really that big of an issue. Most decks only in like the cream at the very top are tutoring out of necessity, not out of needing a lot of times. And most people, if they're tutoring to be greedier than what they already have in their hands, which is fine. But I don't think everyone should warp their decks or change it just because Opposition Agent is there. I mean, you should be mindful that it exists, but it doesn't really hurt Elsha like it does other decks. Like, I'll use example.
First person.
Yeah. And like if we need to, we can kill it. We have a Braid in the deck. We have Chain of Vapor. We have Winds of Rebuke and Snap. It's in the list. We can also straight up counter it. We got cards. It's not like Op Agent is gonna just it's the end for us. Yeah, I feel like there will be people that's gonna yeet you when you fetching though. That will happen. I can see that. But I don't think that should change your land base either. Op Agent is fine. It doesn't deserve a ban like some people were saying. Hull Breacher, on the other hand, different topic. That card is giving your opponents mana. That could be a problem. So, Hull Breacher is scary. You can't. I mean, early game wills are still going to be really good. So, whatever player is going first is usually going to be at the biggest advantage. That's the player that should will if you're going to. Get your mana, get as much as you can, keep some mana open. Get your will out early. 9 times out of 10, I bet you people are going to mull and have Hull Breacher in their opening hands. or to get it. So just be ready for that. It's more about reading the table, the board, and the decks is at the table. Now, Hole Breacher is a better card than Opposition Agent, in my opinion. I'm also running it.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal card. You should. And I think that would be the one to be wary of. But on the other hand, because we on dock side, we could punish the Hole Breacher player. We could like, okay, you caught me off guard. You got all that man off the wheels, but I got a dock side too.
Yep.
Yeah, what's up? Like, are you gonna sack those treasures, or am I gonna get a lot of mana? And we all been through. I've told this to many friends before. Don't give me free draws, and don't let me have this mana.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna end well for you. Because Elsha will always find a way to use all her mana. Like, we're greedy. Nick knows he's a Narset player. Greedy. Jeskai is greedy. Yes. You see Jeskai, expect that Jeskai player to be greedy.
Maybe I'm playing
But,
colors.
Nothing beats the red, white, and blue. Come on now.
America. At the same time.
Well, so back when Jeskai control was in standard and not in modern, this would have been Gate Crash.
Gate Crash, okay.
It was about the same time that it was the latter part of the surge in Iraq and what have you. So I mean, we definitely called it American Control at that point. Just the name of the.
So there were people up there playing Magic. Oh my, okay.
So yeah, oh yeah, Magic is huge in the service. Yeah, a lot of Intel guys playing Magic the Gathering. In fact, that's a non PG-13 story for another time.
Okay.
I have to be careful. Nick can vouch for this. I have to watch my mouth.
Oh yeah. It's all good.
So yeah, it's great. Thanks for coming and sharing this with us. I definitely. So you already know, the viewers don't know. So I primarily play two CDH decks. One is Kess, and the other one is Kalia the Vast. I secretly just made a Rurik Thar deck because I'm trying to add to my repertoire, but
don't be that guy and play Trinisphere. Dear God, not another one.
Bing, 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 bing. So, but that's as a guy that really doesn't play a whole lot of control. I mean, yeah, I have cast, but I wouldn't even consider myself that much of a control player, or I can't even say that I'm not proactive, because we all know that too.
Which Kessless are you running? You doing your own brew, or are you doing?
It's just the Thassos console. Your basic.
Oh, so you're doing Redshift's version? Okay.
So I'm not playing. Yeah. So I'm not doing Storm. I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
This console.
Shout out to FamG and Redshift. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm definitely, my interest is definitely, it's been peaked for a while. Let's be honest here. One guy can only have so many CDH decks, right? All of them. They can have all of them. So, Elsha.
I mean, I technically have all of them. I mean,
somewhere.
I mean, printer go burr.
Printer go burr. That's right.
Let me see. I got a little present.
Mine is sitting in this box.
Because speaking of, you said go burr. I mean, here it is. I just got a collector's box. I had multiple openings. See, I'm on There we go. Got the Thrasios. Najila.
Yep.
I went out. I was like, man, double Timna.
You know, you're the only one I know that's pulled a Sakashima out of all the. Yeah.
I already got a primer for. I'm playing this so hard, bro. Like this. Yes, we're brothers. Yes. Have I shown you the list, Nick?
I don't think so. I mean, I've looked at Sean from the Mystic Remorse. I've seen his list, but I haven't delved too deep into
Well, me and Sean been training ideas. He's on the Grixis server with me, actually. Yeah. Like, so pretty much the community on the Grixis server, they kind of just voted my deck to be the quintessential Obika list. They were like, and Cole, I believe, he posted on Reddit the other day with the Obika primer. So I'm gonna be working on that, but I also got Uguay.
Uguay, yeah. I pulled one of those myself.
Madrotha. These etch voices, these are dope. I'm just saying. Akiri? So, I mean, I technically own every card I can play, every CDH list. It's just I prefer Elsha, I do Kess, I do Frog, and now Obika. Mm-hmm. Those are my decks.
Well, even then, to that point, I've tried Gitrog in the past. Let's see what other. I've tried a number. I firmly believe that certain commanders and certain play styles people gravitate to those deals. Look at you. Oh, yeah.
Like, I also pulled 3 visits. I think a lot of people are gonna like that.
Yeah, I didn't get I just got the one singular non-foil crappy version, but I was happy with it.
Yeah, I mean it was.
I need to post in that Bling channel, to be honest. I actually got inspired to do this because of Clay. That's why I bought all these boxes.
Yeah.
Yep. Clay, me and him had that conversation like a couple weeks ago, and I was like,
hell yeah.
You know what? I already know what you got packing. So I know Nick, you know him. Yeah, you know.
I got a collector's box, and I got a set box, and then a buddy of mine got 2 collector's boxes, and he's waiting on a third one to come in. Ugh. The foils abound. I was looking for my one.
I pulled this today.
My foil hole breacher.
I just got one too. Oh yeah. Hole breacher, man. I'm telling people.
So what's interesting is to your conversation earlier about it, I agree with you wholehearted that Hole Breacher is much better than Opposition Agent. But it's weird, right now, how the prices are upside down. You know what I mean? Everybody's hyped about the Opposition Agent when the sleeper really is Hole Breacher.
I mean, it sucks that people get a free tutor.
This is not an investments channel.
Yeah. I mean, I tell people to invest all the time, but that's another topic too. It's good for your health.
Was that Staff of Domination? Is that what that is?
Yep.
And
I just sold a Staff of Domination, a foil one.
I got lucky. I sold. I had a Spanish staff. I sold that a month or 2 ago, just because I'm like, I have no need for this, and then reprint.
Boom.
We're twins, Clay.
Yeah. Mom would be proud.
Oh yeah, and I even got Zer.
Yeah, I got a Zer too. I don't have any idea what I'm gonna, unless I'm gonna play CDH 2015.
Hey man, I miss Arkham. I miss Arkham so bad.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh man, I love these, and it was just I was trading today. Speaking of the reason why I was late, mainly because I actually picked up some new dual lands.
Oh.
I picked up a Savannah today. So I was like, that's when I traded all my original partners because I was like, I got all these etched. Let me get rid of the originals, and I made bank. And I also had sold all my swords from Double Masters because I'm never going to play any swords.
That's an interesting, because I'm hearing what you're saying, and it's absorbing into my brain, and I'm like, why collect swords when you can collect duels, right?
Yep.
I mean, always go for the reserve list over the over anything that could be reprinted, even if it won't be.
I would say the swords aren't a bad investment because yes, they're always going to retain price, but duels are still better.
Right.
I mean, I probably would get them again later.
And you're absolutely correct on playability. Like right now, I got a copy of every sword in various. I don't have any of the what was it, the invocations or the masterpieces. There you go. Thank you. I don't have any of those like foiled out, what have you. But I have varying levels between foil or regular printing or what have you with the swords, and they're doing exactly as you said they were doing. They're sitting in a binder, not doing anything, serving me no justice whatsoever.
I mean, they're pretty.
I mean,
look at them occasionally.
Yeah.
You can make an artifact deck. I guess you can make a equipment deck or something for like high power or mid power in the future.
But who wants to?
But what is it doing for you? Yeah. I actually tried that before. I had a swords deck. It was the most clunky thing I ever played. Like every time I casted a sword and I was about to equip it, all people did was just destroy it and pop it. I was like, well, I can never equip nothing. Okay. It was like a 5-mana do nothing every game.
Are you ordering cards as we speak?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. This is a finance channel.
He's
got Nick ordering cards over here.
Yeah. You should order. I'm gonna recommend buy it Masterpiece Defense Grid. I just have a tip. Buy it.
Buy it now.
Yes, it's $40 right now, but I'm just saying you might want to get one.
Righteous.
I just know something. I know something. I don't like me and Clay talk all the time. I don't lie about this. You remember when I gave everybody the rundown on what cars was going to rise in price like a year or so ago on the Kalia server?
Yep.
It didn't happen, and everyone was like, damn.
It was $35.
I mean, if you're ordering, order two. Oh, man. Well, is there anything else that you want to add? You have you've had the floor the entire time, of course, but...
Anything to plug, any projects you're working on, fun stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, besides working on Abika a lot, and I am definitely looking, I'm actually, because I know they're busy right now, but I can tell you two, so pretty much I'm going to talk with Ian, and very soon, because I actually shipped this idea around to a couple fellas, and what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna try to get the first place winners of all the tournaments that happened for CDH this year, everyone that got first place in all the leagues and rank ladders, and we're gonna try to have like a
Hall of Fame
tournament. Yeah,
Hall
a first place. Yeah, pretty much all of them together, and I'm like, we can make this a once a year thing. Everyone that got first place this year, it's gonna be an invitational. Invite them all, and I was like, yo, and I know people been wanting Mr. Remorse to do a second term. I was like, this is a way to do it. So I shipped the idea to him, and I was like, we can get it going. That I think it would be a great idea, and
it's a beautiful idea.
You can have a CDH Grand Champion for the community, which is I think is dope. So I'm going to go ahead and
let's extend that to like the social aspects of having a CEDH Grand Champion. It's a physical something that somebody can point to, that some casual or kitchen table player who has always thought about like taking the jank and going to the next level. It's a face. Like right now, you can just point to any of the commanders, and the commanders are the representation for those decks. But then, can you imagine this beautiful mug right here is your grand champion? You know, people think, that guy looks like me. But yeah, seriously, like the social implications of that will be far-reaching for sure. So,
And I told myself, even if I get first place of tournament, because I probably wouldn't participate. The main reason I want to host this, and I want to give back to the community. Like a lot of guys in the community have helped me out with a lot of things, and I'm like, I feel this is what I would do. And I'm actually looking at trophy designs now. So I was going to show Ian this, and I'm going to be paying for this one out of pocket. That's just going to be me, but it's going to be a trophy design specifically. I just need to figure out what to call it. We'll talk about it soon. And that would be sent to what I'm going to do. I'm going to send it to Ian, and then I'm going to have him, because he's good with holding the prizes and giving them out to everybody. So I'm like, hey, whoever's the grand champion, they're going to get the trophy. And everything else would just fall in place. It's either going to be a trophy or it's going to be a belt.
Do a custom belt.
The
so
person can hold it up, just like, yeah.
You can't unring that bell. It is out there. If somebody, whoever the first grand champion is, they're going to be like, I got a trophy? Somebody said this was going to be a belt. It's got to be a belt now. It's got to be a belt. It's a great idea. Jesus,
oh, yeah.
That's a great idea. Like standing up on the stairs, all Rocky Balboa, like, you know, it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna discuss it, but I think it's gonna be dope. You just have a person have the belt with their name plate on it, and you just like CDH Grand Champion name.
Mm-hmm.
You could just bring this to any convention, and then people's like, "Where you get that from?" It's like, "Oh, I won a competitive grand tournament online that had other first place." Where you could brag. That's bragging rights, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, what do they
legit
do?
bragging rights.
In Magic's history, what do they do? They used to give out like little medals. They've had little trophies. You know, I think some of the largest trophies were probably maybe, you know, a meter tall. You know, a couple 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, that's fine and all, but like anymore, anybody that plays soccer on a team and gets a participation trophy has a 3 foot tall trophy. But a belt.
Yep.
Well, that's a championship.
I mean,
a belt.
It's either a trophy or it's a plaque for state championships. I was a really good distance runner back then.
Yeah, me too.
Man, I was actually almost in the military. One of the reasons they were recruiting me was because of that. They were like, "Wow, you're in such good shape," and they're like, "You were like somebody." And then they looked at my GPA and they were like, "You're intelligent and you're in good shape." They were trying to recruit me heavy. I mean, I'm still friends with them, but I just never joined. I mean, yeah, it was just preference.
It was my.
They understood.
It was my escape route to see the world. You know, I had a choice.
I mean, seeing the world is definitely a benefit. Yeah.
Once again,
you've been to Germany, haven't you?
No comment. Flash, I'm on video, man. I'm on video. You gotta.
I know. I'm just
child support out there. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, crazy. All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm going to take the opportunity to wrap this recording up. Thank you so much Flash, for taking your time to share this deck with us. I cannot wait to post this for the world to see. I think it's one of the few modern innovations that we have to look forward to, because everybody's doing pretty much the same old thing, and this is kind of the new sauce, and I love it. So thank you. Thanks also for Nick to coming in and sit in side seat for me. I appreciate you, man.
Oh yeah, I appreciate y'all.
I had to come and at least try and hold on to the Just Guy title.
Oh
That can
yeah.
be worked out. That can be worked out. Here, let me